I think for me, I actually have one of the opposite issues is instead of not looking within, it's like constantly like, fuck, you should be doing better. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why? I'm constantly nagging myself. I'm not making the actions I need to, but it's like, and I know another thing I wanted to touch on, so it segues into this altogether, but what you were saying too, I think, and maybe it was like pre-COVID, but in the last 5-10 years, I think we shifted a lot into like self-love, accepting yourself for who you are, acknowledging, yourself and your faults and whatnot, and accepting them. And I feel like in some sense I've kind of, maybe not the self-love part, but accepting myself for who I am, but to a point where it's like it's almost an excuse now. Well, like, this is just who I am. Like, I like drinking. That's just who I am. So I just still do it. Like, I've always done this. So it's this easy excuse too, where it's like, this is who I am, and so that's been a big thing. And what you were saying, you mentioned something that sparked that thought about um looking within and whatnot. But I do think we're in a generation of like accepting yourself and loving yourself for who you are. But I think we've also, as a society, kind of taken it a little too far in some aspects, where it's, yes, you do need to love yourself, you need to appreciate yourself, but you also need to be striving to make yourself better. And so I think we can incorporate that a little bit too. We do need self-love. We do need to accept ourselves. We do need to feel proud of our accomplishments. We do need to pat ourselves on the back on occasion, but we also need to accept our flaws and work on our flaws instead of just accepting our flaws. And I'm more speaking for myself than, everybody as a whole, but from what I see, I think that there's a lot of people kind of caught in a similar cycle, at least.